Hello and welcome to Silver Wheel Tarot. Today I'm going to do another deep dive into the Celtic Cross. Today we're going to be using the Wizard Tarot and the Celtic Cross within the book that comes with the deck. I'll go ahead and give you a close-up of the text inside for the Celtic Cross in case you want to do a freeze frame and have the information as well as the spread itself. This spread is very similar to the original Celtic Cross in even the keyword titles for the cards. It also has a significator card. So I am going to go ahead and just state really quick that significator cards, there are several different ways to pull them, and these days people really select just about any card. It really depends on how you want to do it. And it can differ for if you are reading for people or for a situation. I have separated out the major arcana and put them in order because what I'm going to do today for this reading is I am going to shuffle and ask Spirit to select a major arcana card that represents the collective on this channel at this time, and anyone else who is going to benefit from coming across this reading. Okay, so let Spirit indicate a card that best represents at this time. So as I'm shuffling this and selecting a card, I'll go over a little bit about this spread. Like I said, it's very similar in card placement. Actually, the card placement for the most part is the same as the original Celtic Cross. And I will be going into a little bit more detail in my thoughts at the beginning of this reading and possibly at the end as well, with a little bit more commentary in between, because this is a deep dive study into the Celtic Cross. I'm doing a different spread every week, so if you want to skip this part, you can to the reading. There will be a full reading in here, just a little bit more commentary. Okay, so we're asking Spirit for a significator card for the collective on this channel and those who would benefit from coming across this reading whenever they come across it. So the book states that readers consider the position as any other in the spread and is placed like any other in the reading. To a degree, I actually disagree with this. It is a pre-selected card. Typically, traditionally, I should say, if a reading is being done for a person, it is usually selected by the court cards. There are certain characteristics that each court card represents, and it is usually based on that, either physical appearance and or, depending on the situation, the person's like character, right? So if they have a really dark, moody character, it might change what court card you would use for them depending on the situation. So I agree that it is another card in the spread, but it's pre-selected for specific meaning, and its purpose is to basically, in my opinion, connect the reader to the querent. So in this case, I'm trying to connect with our collective. Now, I haven't done a lot of readings, to be honest with you all. I don't often use them with querent or significator cards. I typically just tap into the energy itself, and I don't usually, unless the reading calls for it, pull a card to represent that energy. I mostly just tap into the energy. But I think if I had been doing a lot more one-on-one, like face-to-face type readings instead of YouTube, I can see where I would probably use significator cards more often. But I'm typically reading for collective here on YouTube, unless I'm doing readings for family, friends, and such like that. So at this time anyways. So yeah, so I don't think it's just any other card in the spread. It does have purpose like the others, but it's specifically chosen to represent the querent or the issue at hand, in order to connect with and have a placeholder for that energy, basically. Okay, that's the card we're going to take for the significator. So that's my thoughts on that. I do need to shuffle these back into here. Okay, so this spread does not have any special instructions as far as, you know, it doesn't indicate to flip the cards over one at a time or to look at them all at a whole first. Some decks will indicate one or the other. I would like to note that the original Celtic Cross didn't indicate it either. I think it's pretty much implied that you're going to flip the cards over one at a time, but it doesn't even specify that I've seen. So my typical go-to is, of course, I want to follow the spreads as they are in the books, because I'm studying the Celtic Cross, basically the different variations and how they differ and how they are similar. And does it really even change this spread? Okay, because I'm noticing this spread has been around for a long time, and there is something about it that is different from most other spreads. And I really am trying to dive into that a little bit here with this study of it. But I noticed that even with the different variations, the spread works almost the same. So it's very interesting. Okay. All right, so I don't think I went over how I was going to pull a topic. So no special instructions. I will probably flip the cards over one at a time because that is my typical go-to, and then I look at the cards as a whole at the end. The only other instructions it gives is it does suggest to break the reading down, because some people have a hard time with so many cards. It suggests breaking it down into mini readings. So looking at just the significator and cards 1 and 2, then looking at the cards number 5, significator, and 6 as a past, present, future, cards 6 and 10 as a trend for future events, and cards 3 and 9 for what the querent wants, hopes, and fears. So we will probably do that after we flip all the cards over, break it down into the mini spreads, and then look at it as a whole. Okay, so for the topic, since we do have a significator card here, card number 1 is what covers the significator. Okay, it's the influence that is affecting you. So I'm going to be asking Spirit to give us guidance from Spirit on the matter that is affecting you. So whatever is crossing, basically card number 1, we want general guidance from Spirit on that matter that is covering the querent. So it's basically the issue at hand, right? Cards, significator, and 1 are going to say, here is the issue that you're doing a reading for. So I am basically asking for general guidance, not a specific question about that matter. Okay, let me go ahead and lay the cards out. So we have the significator. I'm going to go ahead and flip it over so we can take a look at the energy of the significator. Ooh, the Lovers. So we're dealing with relationships here. I am sensing in this that it is like a true relationship, not like this is a poor choice of words, not a business relationship, not a friendship relationship, not a familial family type, brother, sister, cousin type relationship. This is a one-on-one relationship. So however that looks for you, your personal relationship, whether that is with one other person or, you know, it could even be multiple other people, because some people, you know, that is, you are in an intimate relationship. So whatever that relationship looks like for you, that intimate relationship is what the this is the significator. So this is basically a space holder to hold space for you, for the collective in this reading. So it looks like we're doing a relationship reading, or it's actually about the relationship. So the significator is It is the relationship. So it is more of a, that's interesting. Okay, so significators typically are the querent or the matter at hand, right? Something specific. This is like having, I would say like this, if I was doing a face-to-face reading with somebody, this would be that the querent was a couple, an actual couple that came in together to get a reading. Okay, that is the energy that I'm getting here. So this is not just you in your relationship. This is the relationship. Okay, the relationship being as the querent or as the subject matter for the reading. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay the cards out. So there's card 1, 2, and I always follow the order of the spread. And this one, because these outer cards vary from spread to spread, it's 3. Okay, I will say that it's interesting to note that while most modern versions, there are many versions of this spread, will change around the order of these cards, whether they go 3, 4, 5, 6, or 3, 4, 5, 6, or some of them go 3, 4, 5, 6. It's interesting to note that in the original Celtic cross, I believe it was 3, 4, and then 5 and 6, but 5 and 6 could be 5 and 6 here or 5 and 6 here. It changed based on the direction that the querent card, the significator, was facing. And if it was based on a subject, then you had to determine ahead of time which side it was on. So that's just an interesting fact about the original Celtic cross. I will eventually be doing a reading on that. I thought I was going to be doing it sooner rather than later, but as I am ahead of time studying that original information, I'm gonna look at it a little bit longer before I do an actual video on it. So we'll probably do a few more, at least, different spreads like this one before I go into the original spread. But this one is 5 is past, 6 is future. Okay. Okay. All right. So, and I will tell you, Spirit just said, look at the bottom of the deck. And it has the Wheel of Fortune. So, oftentimes in readings, if you lay a spread and you look at the bottom of the deck, it's kind of the foundation of where it's coming from. And I think that was Spirit just kind of helping me to understand more the querent or the significator in this reading, the collective, that the significator is a relationship, but the foundation of it is basically Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so there we have it. A little bit more information on what the reading is for. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. I have taken my own personal notes. I will show you real quick. I like to do that there. I apologize for the messy writing. So I have written down what the actual card meanings are. I'm going to walk through them for you really quick here on frame. So card number 1 is what covers the significator, or you. In this case, it is the relationship. This is what card number 2 is, what crosses it. I should say card number 1 says covers the influence that is affecting you. I do like to indicate more specifically, just so you have an idea here, that while these keywords are pretty much, except for the word foundation, exactly what it states on the original Celtic cross, the information that follows them differs. And for the purpose of studying the Celtic cross, I feel that it's very important to acknowledge that what the specific questions or statements are of what the card represents. The original Celtic cross, the only difference for the key words here is instead of foundation, it says what's beneath you instead of foundation, which a foundation is what's beneath you. So yeah. Okay. Sorry, very chatty in this video today. I'll see if I can focus my mind a little bit better here. Card number 1 is covers the influences that are affecting you. Card 2 is crosses, the obstacles or energies working against you. So very oppositional. 3 is the crown, your ideal goal. 4 is the foundation, the basis or foundation. Card number 5 is behind, influences that affected you but are now passing away. Card number 6, before, what is likely to happen next. Card number 7, yourself or the relationship itself, the influences of circumstances or, oh, sorry, I swapped it around. 7, yourself, how you see yourself. So the relationship as a whole, how it sees itself, if the relationship had an energy, right, of its own, it would be the combined energy of the two people or all the people involved in the relationship. Card number 8 is the house or your house, the influences of circumstances or people around you. Card number 9, hopes and fears, your hopes or fears. So it's one or the other. So I'm going to go with the statement that comes after the parentheses here where it says your hopes or fears, because the title is Hopes and Fears, which is a very common title for it, but the description says hopes or fears. So we'll see when we pull the card over intuitively what we get. And card number 10 is what will come, the culmination, resolution, or outcome. Okay. And I do typically do that. I am going based off the definition of the titles assigned to the positions when I go through these readings. There is a playlist on my channel if you are interested in seeing the other Celtic cross readings. And if I remember, I will try to put some timestamps down for those of you who don't want all that pre-information and just want the reading. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. The relationship covers the influences that are affecting the relationship. The devil. Wow. Oh, okay. So the impression I'm getting off this card is we have this devil energy here, and we have the two people here, and all three of them have these like sparklers in their hands. I mean, maybe those are wands, but they got like, you know, fiery, fun tips. They remind me of sparklers. And it's this influence that is like, hey, everything's fun and party and great and everything is fine while you stay chained willingly to the issues at hand. It's a false sense of everything's just fine. Everything's a party. Everything's good. We're good here, right? We are all wearing masks and we are all pretending everything is okay and that we don't need to talk about anything. And let's just go on with the party and brush everything under the rug and let's not talk about it. That is the influence. That is the matter at hand. That is what this reading is about, that we need some guidance on. What's not being said? What's not being talked about? What's really an issue that, we're hoping at some point just doesn't come to a boiling point? Yeah. Okay, that's kind of deep. But Spirit's reminding me back, they're just saying, this is why we showed you the bottom of the deck. Wheel of Fortune. So, Spirit's saying, don't go to a deep, dark, depressive state here. This is the matter at hand. Okay, this is what's influencing. So, influences that are affecting you. This is an influence is based on your current environment, right? So there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of things going on. I'm very curious to see what this external, the house, the influences of circumstances and people around you are, because this is definitely the influence that's affecting you. And I feel like this is going to be tied to this. So interesting that I'm going to actually, after the reading, I'll make a note that as far as the concept of mini readings, so already in this spread, as Celtic crosses do, even all their unique versions, they're very magical, okay? The key thing in the book for this reading is mini spreads, right? That's the guidance. That's the only guidance that it gave, is to look things down as mini spreads and the connection. And this card combination wasn't given, but clearly in the wording of the description, what covers is the influences that are affecting you. And card 8 is the influences of circumstances and people around you. These are connected. Okay, so to get a little bit more clarity on that later, we're going to find out. But this is an influence. This is not the relationship. So it's important to remember that. And maybe that is why the Wheel of Fortune popped up as a supporting card here. Okay, it's important to remember that the influences affecting you are not the relationship itself. Okay, all relationships go through cycles, they go through trends, they go through, people growing and issues and concerns, and growth happens. And sometimes these hard things affecting you can lead to some very positive growth within the relationship. Darkest before dawn kind of a concept. Being grateful after the fact for having gone through something hard, because it helps you grow into something that was better than you could ever imagine within that same relationship. Okay, so to give it a little bit more positive light there. All right, card number 2, what crosses? So the obstacles or the energies working against you. Ooh, the Hierophant. This could be spiritual beliefs. This could be outdated perspectives. This could be one or both people have a different view. You guys could have different views on things. I'm really feeling led in this reading to indicate relationships that have more than 2 people. So that's not something I typically cover, but Spirit is pushing that. So if it is a relationship with just 2 people, it all still applies. If it is a relationship with more than 2 people, then you may have a situation where 2 people feel one way and 1 person feels the other, or any combination. I'm not saying it has to be 3 people, however many people are in the relationship, okay? So there is some sort of issue here that is working against you. The energies are working against you, creating an obstacle. It is an opposition. So this energy of different beliefs or different perspectives doesn't always have to be spiritual or religious, though typically the Hierophant represents that. It can also represent It can represent someone who usually is the person taking the lead in the relationship, right? Like how it's run, maybe the more dominant person in the relationship. Maybe there is a struggle for dominance in the relationship. Maybe one person says it should be this way and the other one says it should be this way, or there's some shift or change has happened where what it was before is not what it is now, and that is causing conflict. So someone has grown, someone has changed, the perspective of you has changed, and that is not to say that the relationship cannot grow and change with it, but it's a little bit of a power struggle is what I'm hearing. You know, it's very much like a dogma or a religion that's very like strict, and you come in and say, yeah, but what about this? I have this new perspective, and they're like, whoa, no. Right? Opposition, conflict, obstacle. Is it something you can work through? Is it not? Cards have yet to show that. I'm gonna say leaning towards yes with the Wheel of Fortune here. Things look bright. It could also be a change in the dynamics in the relationship, you know, staying open here to all possibilities and everyone's different ways of life here. You know, it could be from going from a two-person relationship to maybe you have somebody wanting a 3 or 4, you know, different type of relationship. Interesting. Okay, so I'm also feeling led to, I know I said I was going to wait to the end to do the little mini readings, but I am feeling led to actually look at the little mini readings within the readings as we go along, as soon as all the cards that are paired together are flipped over. So mini reading number 1 is the significator, the relationship. Card number 2, card significator, the relationship. Card number 1, the devil, and card number 2. And it says that this creates a picture of the situation or the conflict. And I feel like we've already kind of done that, but I feel to clarify it a little bit more, to look for the nuances here, is that, as I was saying, some sort of shift in beliefs or perspectives from one or more partners in the relationship, causing a little bit of a rift in how things were. And instead of acknowledging the shift or change, the devil here, this opposing factor, this influence, the influence is coming from that change, that shift in leadership roles or in beliefs. I'm getting it could be either. You know, you could be in a relationship where one person was dominant and now it's kind of flipping to the other person being more dominant, and one person might not like that as much. Okay, it doesn't have to be religious beliefs. So to paint the picture of it, basically this is getting not addressed, which is not really healthy, right? It's just being brushed under the rug or not being spoken about. Everybody's just going along their business like things haven't changed, but things have changed. That's only going to work for so long, okay? So a little bit of shadow work there, because you're having to face something that you know, people don't want to face. Okay. And again, I'm feeling led with this is that it doesn't have to be spiritual in nature. It can be very much just a power play. Roles are changing, and it's going to come to a head and need to be addressed at some point if you want to keep the relationship and keep it healthy and strong. Okay, moving on. Let us see here. We have Let me let my cat out. She's meowing. I apologize. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So many distractions today. Maybe that's part of the reading. I don't know. Card number 3. What crowns your ideal goal? So what is the goal of the relationship? Everybody in the relationship is aware, whether it's just a power shift or whether it is a difference in beliefs, something has changed. It's aware, it's not being talked about, okay? So with that in mind, what is the goal? What's the ideal goal? 2 of Wands. Two of Wands, the first thing that comes to mind is looking to the future. Usually you can see, and you can actually see the 2 wands here in the window, and you can usually see the ships in the distance here. You know, the ships are coming in. They're just not here yet. It's a choice to be made, but I get mostly that the choice wants to be made only because you want to be able to look towards the future, right? You want this not spoken about focus that's an issue to be dealt with, but in order to do that, you have to deal with it. So the goal is very positive. It is a desire to be able to look towards the future in the relationship, what to expect, what's coming next, something hopeful to look forward to. Right now, everybody's just kind of in a stalemate, right? So you don't know what that future is going to look like, or have, what do you look forward to if everyone's in a stalemate and nobody's talking about it, okay? So what is the foundation, the basis or foundation? Judgment. So I'm pulling over all these cards just to let you guys know, because it is a study, and I do intend to talk more on these videos. I'm pulling over these cards, and every single one feels so heavy. And I'm just like, oh, like every time I pull over a card, it's like, oh, I feel for this, for you all, for everybody, for the relationship. I'm like, this is heavy. But every single time I do, every single time I instinctually just think or feel that, Spirit reminds me of the Wheel of Fortune card. Every single time. So something positive is coming. Things are good. I will just keep reminding you that throughout the reading. Judgment here can be different things. Judgment, for me, can really represent an awakening, okay? Somebody has had some sort of glow up. I say glow up because this owl is beautiful and represents wisdom and spirituality, and it just is bright behind it, right? Someone has had a glow up. Someone has had some sort of awakening within the relationship, and they are different, and they have grown, and they are elevated in some way, and that is the change, okay, that can cause a power struggle or could create a difference in viewpoints and values and perspectives. Because this is a general reading and I'm reading for a lot of people here, this could also be literal judgment from a partner. Somebody sees something someone's doing, a change somebody's made, and they're judging it. I'm not feeling or putting any kind of emphasis on the judgment. Maybe it's very different for different people, where the judgment is coming from, what that's based in, why. That may not even be really something we need to dive deep into. But this is the foundation. This is where it's coming from. And it really does support, again, that there was a shift, there was a change. There was, and it's either has to do with someone growing and developing in a way that roles are being shifted, changed. Power is, changing. Someone's more dominant than they used to be, and that's causing a little bit of problems. Or it is very spiritual in nature. Awakenings don't have to be spiritual in nature, though they usually are referred to in that way. And someone has been elevated in some way. They have been personally in their life reborn. They're like a whole new person in this life. Okay, they have grown, they've gone through significant soul growth, or it can be a number of things, but that change has caused this rift, and nobody's talking about it. But everyone involved in the relationship wants to look towards the future. They want a happy ending. They want to be hopeful. They want to see a future in the relationship. That's the goal here. Okay. We have that Wheel of Fortune. So, the energy is feeling that it's all going to work out just fine. But clearly there are things to be addressed. Okay, we are going to look at card number 5, which is what is behind. So this is the influences that affected you but are now passing away. 2 of Swords. Oh. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Okay. This was a decision to be made. And with the birds in the air and the turbulent waters behind it, we see a struggle. Not typically seen in the 2 of Swords. She usually will have a blindfold on and a sense of going inward, a decision to be made, a conflict, a choice needing to be made. Within that, we also have 2 2s here, which is coming to mind. But this is the past, right? This is an influence that affected you but is now passing away. This was a choice that has already been made. And I'm going to tell you, the choice was whether or not to stay in a relationship. One, both, or all parties involved, you're still here at the time of the reading, have decided they want to be in the relationship. That is excellent news for the relationship, you guys, because you have to want to be in a relationship for it to work. Regardless of the struggles, regardless of the changes, regardless of things that come up. And I will remind you guys that this is just a tarot reading, and for purposes of the video being here, is that I am not any type of doctor or psychologist or anything. Okay, I'm just a tarot reader. So, but what the cards are saying is that the choice was made to stay in the relationship. And hence the goal is you want to look towards the future of that relationship, and that is beautiful. The issue still needs to be addressed, okay? It's weighing probably heavily on everyone's hearts, I'm hearing. And the foundation was this major change, this glow up, this shift, this change in perspective or beliefs or spiritual awakening or soul growth. Whatever it was is probably different for everyone. It kind of caused the situation, but within that situation, the decision has already been made that you want to make it work. Okay? Anything is possible within a relationship, you guys. I mean, compromises can be made. You can change perspectives. If you can't change the situation, change the way you look at the situation. Accepting people truly for who they are. and loving them as they are plays a huge role in that. Okay. So I really feel that that's a beautiful energy here. Okay, we're going to move forward. Card number 6, before you. Oh, what is likely to happen? I got so wrapped up in the issue here that I was like, oh yeah, what is going to happen? Let's look at the good news. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, you guys, that is beautiful. The Queen of Pentacles reminds me of a happy home. The Queen of Pentacles, she's got a rainbow over her head. She is financially secure. She is on solid ground. She has beauty all around her. This is the person or people in the relationship that are helping to create a beautiful home, a beautiful environment. She's in this gorgeous garden here with the rose petals, which to me, the rose petals represent love, but also healing, more important, healing within love. And this is the future of the relationship. Again, we are not reading as one person within the relationship. We are doing the reading for the relationship, okay? So while there's one person in here, this is the unified energy of the relationship, and that is beautiful. Hope, harmony, peace, healing, beauty, groundedness, financial security. That is a beautiful energy. Okay, good to start seeing that positive energy coming in here. You can work through whatever you're going through. Okay, card number 7. This is the relationship. Oh, actually, so sorry. Let's look at past, present, future, mini spread, which I feel like the way that I read the cards have already kind of done that. So the past, the decision was made to stay in the relationship. The current situation by all parties. Keeping in mind that at the time of this reading, when you listen to the reading, it is if both people are still, there and present in the relationship. Okay, then both parties have decided to stay. You then have the issue is still not discussed. Okay, it's unspoken. Everyone's aware it's there. It's just going about their business still. But the future holds a beautiful outcome, one of harmony and balance and stability as for the relationship as a whole. So that is beautiful. Okay. And 22 is coming up again. This was brought up, the 22, or the 2 and the 2, that makes it 22. But then also we have card 20, right? Judgment, which is another, reduces to another 2. 2, 2, 2. If you all have been seeing 2, 2, 2 for a while now, then there definitely is something there with regards to the relationship. Okay. All right, moving on. Card 7, how you see yourself. So this is in the current, present, how the relationship sees itself. King of Swords. Interesting how this King of Swords, he actually has the sword in his hand and a wand in his hand, and they are crossed, and there is a power struggle. A power struggle of equals. There's opposition, and it's in the area of the mind and the willpower, personal fire, personal beliefs, with the wand in here as well. both parties are well educated. Both know what they're talking about. Both know what they're doing. Both are mentally, to say, on solid ground. It's basically a stalemate, and you're both just sitting there together on the throne, not talking about it. Okay. So the relationship has gone from possibly have not even just a switch, like I know I stated here, for a lot of you it could be like a switch of power, like one being more dominant and now the other one's more dominant. I see this more as one was more dominant and now both are dominant together. Now, that's how the relationship sees itself. And because that is the viewpoint in the mind of how the relationship sees itself, that perspective is a bit of a cross here. It's a little bit of an opposition. But I will remind you all that in a relationship, if you have two powerful forces that are united, not in opposition, but if they decide to unite together, that unity, that union, that the lovers, two coming together as one or more, a three-strand cord is strong, right? That can make you unstoppable. Like a, what do they say? I don't know the whole saying, but it's like a three-strand cord or rope can't be broken, right? That's why they typically make rope out of 3 strands instead of, say, 2 typically. There's something to that. The significance in the symbolism there is that you are stronger together. Find what is common. Find what you have in common. Accept the differences. Build the future on the strengths, and you can get out of this perspective of battling, opposing each other because of the differences. So there is that concept of you can't have two people ruling over one thing. Well, unless they're in unity, unless those two are one truly, unless those 3 or 4 are one, if they are a unified force, a true collective of energy that all are viewing things the same in the sense of the standing of the relationship and the way that the relationship is going to go forward, nothing will be able to get in the middle of that bond. When 2 or more become one, they are literally still one power. So now not only do you have the power of the swords, but you also have the power of the wands, okay, together. So clearly, again, everybody knows in the relationship, this shift has changed, but no one's talking about it. But everyone is looking at it as a whole. The relationship itself, it sees itself as in opposition. That can shift. Everybody wants to look towards the future, the shift that has to happen. Wow. Nobody wants to talk about, and I'm hearing, like, Spirit is saying that this doesn't take words. It doesn't even, like, no one's talking about it. And this is probably not something I would imagine psychologists would suggest, but Spirit is saying it doesn't even have to really be spoken. You just got to get in alignment with each other. Come on the same page. Accept each other all for who you are. And give each other your power, your trust, your honesty. Coming together, unify. Find a way to unify. For most people, that requires conversations and talking and discussing. But maybe your language isn't verbal. That's what Spirit's trying to say. Thank you, Spirit. Maybe your language, maybe you guys have been living with each other for so long that you talk more than you realize with nonverbal cues. You're reading each other's body languages. You're reading facial expressions, what's said, what's not said. Okay? Come in to unity together. That is how. I mean, this card I know just represents the you, the relationship, but Spirit's giving you the how. That's how you do it. If you don't, if it doesn't benefit, or it's just not, maybe everyone's circumstances are different, right? You never know. So if a verbal conversation isn't what would work best in your situation, start getting on the same page energetically. That is how you do it. Energy. Focus on the energy. Focus on what's not being said. Focus on the nonverbal communication. Okay, that's huge. Okay. So I'm looking at the mini spread notes I have here. We don't have any other ones that they suggested, though I've kind of gone all over the place with this. We're going to move on to card number 8, your house, the influences of circumstances or people around you. Okay. Six of Swords. Oh, I love this. You see the rainbow. You see the family. It's an actual family unit here. And it's like they're making a getaway. Now, yes, I'm trying to find the other swords. Oh, there they are. Coming out of the building, coming out of the building. Oh. Okay, so I see something very positive in this card that represents the relationship, but this card really is the house. It's the influences, the circumstances, or the people around you. I'm getting it's a circumstance, okay? Because this is your house or the people around you. Maybe in your relationship that is all that there is, or the others in the house aren't maybe old enough to have an influence. I see she's holding a very young child here. The influence is a circumstance, okay? So what I saw when I first saw this was the rainbow and the family unit, and immediately it brought me to this 2 of Wands where everyone decided to stay and everybody wants to look towards the future, which is beautiful. And that's this rainbow here. And you are together and unified. What did I say? This unified, but in opposition, in perspective. But they're a unified force in here. They are together. They are a unit. Now, yes, one is driving the vehicle, but the other is holding a child. So they are equally working towards the security of moving forward, and both want to move forward through the future. But what we see here is typically you would have in a 6 of Swords, like a moving on in a boat with the 6 swords, and the person driving the boat's typically like the spirit guide, right? But the swords are behind and in front of you, and they are blocking this relationship. They are like keeping it captive, held, not moving. The circumstances are, you're in an in-between space and kind of feeling trapped in that in-between space within that circumstance. But there is a silver lining or a rainbow lining here that, while maybe mentally, that's where the swords come in. Oh my gosh. Mentally, the viewpoint is the opposition. Okay, and what Spirit has said within these cards here is that the how to get out of this is to come into unity. So physically, speaking, as a unit, you've both decided to stay, or you've all decided to stay, and you're all looking towards the future, but you're all still viewing it as an opposition of energies instead of unifying your energies and just saying, okay, you know what? We've all decided to stay. This is so-and-so's inventory, this is so-and-so's inventory, and this is so-and-so's inventory. But we all love each other, and we accept that that's that person's issues and strengths. That's that person's issues and strengths, and so forth, okay? You're only as strong as your weakest member, but also individually you have to be strong to have a strong relationship. So acknowledging and accepting the positive and negative aspects of each person in the relationship, accepting it truly, not trying to change it, but accepting it and focusing on the positive and the strengths together. That is how you unify. Once what's happening here in the circumstance that's affecting it is these swords. The swords are representing an opposition or a block, okay? So yes, this is present, but once you get that unity going on, you're already physically together, right? It's just the mental. It's the mental here. Once you all get on board with viewing the perspective, a shift in perspective will shift the swords and open the path forward for you. Okay? But the perspective that has to change is a perspective of unity instead of opposition. As you see, as I keep doing this, interesting, the unity and the concept of the weaving of a rope is still coming together. It's still crossing. Okay? But you got to combine the energies in a way that are helpful to everybody involved. Okay, so the next mini spread that it says to do is to look at cards. Oh, that's 8. It doesn't, but the mini spread that I was noticing was wanting to see what covers, which is an influence, and the influences of the house. And in the reading, I also noticed that the other card that has the word influence in the description is 5. So past, present, also present influences together. And we pretty much covered it in the description that I gave with that, looking at them all together. Okay. All right, so so far I will say that looking at the mini spreads, I think that this is something that, I mean, obviously I already do, is I compare all the cards and read them together. I flip them over one at a time, and then I look at them in comparison and then build on it as I go. But the mini spread suggestions in this deck I think are fantastic starting point for, like the spread said, for if someone feels overwhelmed by the number of cards in the spread. I think that naturally, anyone who's been reading for a while, that you're going to eventually do that naturally anyways. This just kind of gave some step-by-steps on how to do that. Or at least for me, that's kind of where I naturally already, is what I do. So I'm not sure if everybody reads that way, but that is the way that I tend to read. Okay, hopes or fears. Hopes or fears. 9 of Wands. We're still a little stuck in the fear section here with the wand. Okay, it's reminding me of the wand within the King of Swords. The sword energy, maybe a little bit afraid of the wand energy, wanting to really not truly unify, but maybe wanting to run the show. as we see with people behind and the person holding the wand in front. The wand energy may also be afraid of letting in the sword energy because of the shadows in the past, the baggage, all those old the other 8 battles. 9 of Wands can tend to be like the wounded warrior type energy where you've been through so many battles and you're just wiped out and exhausted, and it's like, do I lay down this 9th wand to pick up a 10th wand that's in unity with this sword's energy? How do I do that? How do I let go of that old wand, right? That's the card, the energy that this card is saying. So from both perspectives, because it is the relationship and the opposition is the members of the relationship acting separately instead of unified. And the fear here is the fear is an illusion. Remember that. I once heard someone say that it is fear is false evidence that appears real. Okay, fear is an illusion. These swords of the circumstance, of the non-unity, of the opposition, is an illusion. Okay, so the fear is an illusion. You're already both all want to be united moving forward here. Okay, but you've got to get your energies on the same page, get in alignment, take your strengths and work and blend them together to be unstoppable in a relationship here. And that is what I'm getting, is that the swords is afraid that the wand doesn't truly want to be in unity, and the wand, that maybe the wand wants to lead, not side by side, but over. And though I'm not getting that from the wand's energy at all, I'm telling you, I feel like both really want to work in unity together, but both are afraid because of the past. Maybe the sword's energy is not used to having someone shoulder to shoulder on par, someone who is really truly working together as one. Maybe they haven't had, the sword's energy hasn't had that in their life before, and so it's new and it's scary, and it's like, do I trust this, or is this person going to want to do what everybody else has and take that wand and try and rule the situation? Okay, and then you have the wand's energy, who is afraid to put down that 9th wounded wand to pick up a 10th unified wand with the sword's energy because of these old shadows. Both are looking at the past experiences instead of the current present situation that is extremely powerful and beneficial, and everybody can benefit from this relationship. It can be super powerful if you look at the strengths that everyone has, and if everyone accepts and acknowledges, okay, yeah, so this is so-and-so's weakness, but this is their strength. And so you think one thing here and I think something there, but how can you unify? Okay, make compromises where they need to be made. Accept people for who they are. The fear is you have 2 equally powerful energies here that want to unify, but neither of them have had an experience before where they could have that much trust in somebody. Trust is the issue. That's a little heartbreaking, but I think it's a very common thing these days. Trust is true trust is very hard to come by. But the energy I'm getting is that you can trust, do trust, you want to trust, but it's scary. Okay, but remember this outcome here, this future is a unified energy, and it is gorgeous. So I see that you are going to get through these obstacles. And the next mini reading was to read the 3 and 9 the hopes, wants, hopes and fears. So it's important to note that you all do want the same thing. You're all just scared. It's very understandable. But what you have is unique. It's very unique. I think that if you're still here in this reading at this point, most people would not be able to get to this point within a relationship. Most people would not have decided to stay, because to stay means you have to grow and you have to change, and everyone involved has to grow and change. And that is very hard sometimes, okay? And that you know that it's going to be a struggle and a challenge. May not be easy, but that it is going to be very well worth it, okay? And so in being able to learn to trust here, realize that everyone involved is all feeling the same way and all learning how to trust for the first time, and that you have a much more powerful unified energy, and that it is worth the risk. It is worth it. And it is better to take a risk than to not and just never know, right? Don't give in to the fears. Face your fears. Deal with them head on. And I'm being reminded of the earlier energy of what needs to be said doesn't necessarily need to be verbal. It needs to be said with the energy. You are both magicians. You are both powerful. You are both just so much power and uniqueness and creativity in the energy that I'm feeling, that combined, it's unstoppable. And so the sense I'm getting is that you know energy. You understand energy. Start speaking in energy. Start believing in energy. Start looking to, that is why. So this little globe here has been standing out to me and I couldn't figure out why, so I didn't say anything, but it's almost on fire here. And it's blue and green, so heart space, like heart fire. I see blue as a person's personal like soul fire, and green as the fire of the heart and the emotions. And so blended together, it's a very, very powerful energy of will and heart combined. Look forward in energy, speak in energy, do everything in energy. If everyone gets on board with working with the energy instead of focusing on the fear, everything is going to fall into place. And that's where this Wheel of Fortune comes in again. Look at the energies, and it's protected, and it is unified and woven together. I mean, you already have everything you need. And look at the colors again with the sparkles and this is the energy. It's the energy. You can take that energy and turn it into this healing, beautiful, solid rainbow instead of the sparkles and the scatters. The energy brings the healing. The energy is the healing. Focus on the energy is what Spirit is saying. The energy you want the relationship to have. Imagine it empowered, strong, powerful, a unified force. What do all of your strengths and all of the others' strengths in the relationship, if all you had was all that powerful positive energy, what would that look like in a positive light? How would that rainbow look, right? Imagine that energy. Work as if that energy is already there for you. Empower yourself through that energy. Live that energy, be that energy. That is how you turn it around. Okay, let's look at the final outcome, you guys. This is powerful. Okay, card number 10. What will come? The culmination, resolution, outcome. Oh my gosh. That is beautiful. Moving towards the future. Flying in the air, the sword energy. The fire in the wand, connecting to the sun. I see her skirt flowing, right? And the horse is in the air. This is the unified energy of the sword and the wand. Moving together. Fast, quick movement forward in positive energy here. This is beautiful. And when this comes, this future here, this is your future environment. This is the relationship. This is the harmony, the peace, the healed, the foundation of the relationship. And this is the external, what you're experiencing. I mean, this is just so gorgeous. And this is actually the last card combination they want you to look at in the book, the trend of future events. That is powerful, you guys. And the fertility, it's just the beginning. This is your new beginning energy in this relationship. That is beautiful. All right, let's take one more overall look. I always do like to do that. As always, very powerful reading. The Celtic Cross, I'm telling you, it has power to it. It is magic. I believe that this spread is magic. I really believe that. I have a lot of other thoughts too. I'm not going to go there yet because I'm still doing my deep dive and researching the original spread, but I truly believe that this spread has magic in it. There is nothing in this relationship that you can't heal. Everything can be healed. All of it. You are energy. You are magicians. You control the energy. You understand energy. You live it. Fix it through the energy. Change the energy. In every situation, in every thought, in every action, in every emotion, in every physical way that you can, fix the energy. Focus on the unified power energy that you hold together. Beautiful. All right, well, that is what I have for you all. Beautiful reading. Very hopeful. I mean, Wheel of Fortune, Sun card, Queen of Pentacles. That's where you're going. So gorgeous. Oh, and look right where I laid that. Remember that you have fortune on your side. And focus on the energy. Until next time, be blessed.